And welcome back, as always, to the Melbourne Catholic website. I'm Shane Healy, and today I'm with Sharon Brewer. Sharon is from the National Centre for Evangelisation, and she's written quite a lovely little book called Discovering Prayer. Sharon, welcome.
Thanks very much, Shane. Thanks for your interest in our book.
Well, it looks terrific, and we're going to talk a little bit about it over the next few minutes. How did you come to write it?
Well, I guess it came out of our director, Shane Dwyer, said, look, we already have one product that is called Call and Response, which is very much, it's a great little précis of the Catholic Church, but it really is for the head. And he said, what we really need in our toolkit of
Let
resources...
me guess, something for the heart.
Something for the heart.
Yes,
You've got it.
I like it.
So he let me play around with a few ideas for a while, and then I came back with this idea, and it's grown from there.
I'm daunted by the idea that someone can sit down and write a book explaining some of the themes around prayer, and the way it works is, folks, one side is a theme. I've opened up happiness, and then on the other side there's a matching prayer. Wow, what an effort to put that together. I mean, does it take weeks and months and years to do that, or do the words just flow?
No, the words just didn't flow. Look, as someone said, it's a very humble book. It's not a theologically heavy book. It's quite simple in its language.
And it sounds like that's the way you wanted it to be.
Yeah, that's right. And
yes.
the topics came naturally, but it is very difficult to start putting what you feel in your heart down onto paper, because you start to have to think, people are going to judge me in a way by what I write.
Yes.
And is my theology sound enough, you know? So it was a little nerve-wracking, yeah, but in the end you just had to think, I'm praying here.
Yes.
And so you had to pray it through. So I had to take myself to a silent place, a quiet place. I couldn't do it in the office.
Yes.
And then just put myself into that place of prayer. And then the words came out.
Well, that's a great explanation, by the way. So let's wind it back. You yourself, have you always found it easy to pray, or has it been something that has become more natural to you as your life's gone on?
Certainly, I was raised as a Catholic and did the Our Fathers and the
All
Hail
those.
Marys.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But the idea of really talking to God, it grows, I think, with experience.
Yes.
So sometimes you've got to go through the highs and the lows of life to put yourself into a position where there's something greater than what's happening here and now. There's something else. So I think that's what led me into being able to talk to God.
Yes.
And of course, I've had some great spiritual directors along the way. You know, one or two great people in my life who have really nurtured me in that way. Yeah, sometimes you need help to do it. So, yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
So we're talking about discovering prayer. Now there's 30 themes there.
Yes.
Just give us an example of a couple of them and the way you came to bring them together.
Look, I sort of had to approach it from, why would people come looking for God?
Yes.
Or who is this Jesus? And where do people meet them? And it's often in the extremes, so of happiness or sadness or whatever. So one of the themes I took, which I think is a very hard thing for people to get their heads around, is why do bad things happen to good people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So during the course of this book, my son and his wife had a baby, and the baby came 7 weeks early, and there was that sort of worry, you know, what's going to happen? And they knew that I was a person of prayer and I'm religious, and I thought, what would happen if something had happened? Had things gone wrong? How would have I explained that? And so I had to work through that myself, and in doing that, I was able to, I guess, write that prayer.
Sure. That's a great explanation.
Yeah. Thank
you.
I
suppose you've stumbled on something that, to me anyway, is very honestly factual, and that is the times that you feel like you really need God can be those lowest moments in your life.
Yes.
And you can get a little bit almost arrogant. I remember someone said to me once, you remember that God's really there when you feel like you've got everything under control and he just pulls the rug out from under you, and you sort of realise that.
Yes.
So in the prayers, are you saying these will be prayers that will suit anyone, someone who's even not a Catholic, someone who's new to Catholicism, someone who's been a Catholic for a long, long time? Who are they going to speak to?
Look, originally we had the seeker, the inquirer in mind, somebody who was just wondering, who is this God, who is Jesus, and where do I fit in?
Yes.
But it's actually grown from there, because there's two other groups now that we find. So that there's people who I've given this book to who go to Mass every week.
Yes. And
But-
feedback strong?
But they said, oh look, I've done the Our Fathers and I go along, I do what's right.
Mm.
But in terms of having a personal relationship with Jesus and actually talking to God, they said this has been great.
Really helpful.
So that's been helpful. And then that third group of people are our evangelisers, are our people who want to share their faith. And we're nervous. As Australians, we don't like to do it. We don't
No, it's
want
not
to be
natural, is
It's
it?
not natural.
No.
So this is a book, I guess, that proposes our faith. So it's not in-your-face heavy theology with lots of churchy language. And I think if you were a person who thought, I've got a friend who I think would really, it'd be great if they knew
Sure.
Jesus,
Yes.
you could sort of quietly give that to them as a little present, and it wouldn't be too pushy, and it'd be gentle.
See what they say.
Yeah, it's a way of proposing our faith.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there'll be lots of people watching today. You might be a very devout Catholic. Well, it sounds like this is still worth a look. You might not be a Catholic. You might have stumbled across our wonderful website, Melbourne Catholic. Maybe worth a thought. And how would people, I want to go back to the book in a moment,
Yes.
but while we're talking, how would people get a hold of the information to be able to purchase? I think you said it's $3.
It's $3, so yes, less than a cup of coffee.
Yeah, good.
So they just go to our website, catholic.org.au, and it's very easy to scroll down and find our online shop, and you can purchase it online.
Pretty easy, catholic.org.au. I've just opened up at happiness here, and the prayer says, loving God, thank you for walking with me today with all its ups and downs, and then actually proposes the reader close their eyes for a couple of minutes and rewind over the past 24 hours. So you're sort of, if you like, providing the prayer and also maybe helping them walk with God on that path.
Yeah, so each day, if you want to do it as a 30-day journey, has
Yes.
4 parts. It has a little piece of scripture or some words of wisdom from somebody famous or that we
Yes.
know well, like the Pope, then a short reflection, and then the prayer itself. And then sometimes we just put in there a little bit of an activity or something for them to think about.
Sure.
Yeah.
The images, the image there, outstanding.
It's beautiful. We have a terrific designer, Janine Doyle. And
Well, you better give Janine a bit of a pat on the back.
Janine's great. Not only is she a great designer, she knows her stuff and she knows what we're on about. She's a person of faith, and once she read some of the text, she knew what how it had to be applied, in this in the design, and she's done a terrific job.
I agree.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Sharon Brewer, thank you for joining us on Melbourne Catholic.
Thank you very much.
And I hope everyone gets their copy and is as impressed as we are with discovering prayer.
Thank you.